We are treated today by the wonderful tones of Jason Eunice's native flute. Jason, thank you so much for being here today to celebrate with us. We appreciate it. Wonderful tin worker. We also have basically the entire Jane's crew is over here. They showed up in force. Guys, thank you very much. You've been wonderful partners throughout this whole event of getting the food hall and all the other various pieces up and running. I do want to give a shout out to some partners. Obviously, it's Fresquez Day because they're the operators of the 4 units that are newly open today in the food hall, and they've been working very hard to get these units open up for the public. So we're thrilled that we were able to make it right on time, and true to form, we're still under construction, as you can hear. So I just want to give a shout out to some other partners that have worked closely with Jane's to make this all happen. Of course, FBT Architects. We also have the many trades who have done so much work to make this space beautiful. That includes Year Out, B&D, Western States, WPI, Jane's Millwork, Ray's Flooring, Pace Metals, Masthead, Southwest Glass, and US Electric. And if you didn't know what it took to move this guy back here, Dream of Flight sculpture, the folks from Masthead can tell you. It is not an easy feat. They moved it here without chipping it, without breaking anything. We're just very grateful that they were on point for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really important day for us. We have a good run of show here to demonstrate the hand-in-hand leadership with our partners here, Fresquez, Jane's, etc. Folks, I would like to introduce to you my fellow Deputy Director, Gary Gilliard.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. So my job is to tell you about these great new brands. Again, I'd like to join and say congratulations to the Fresquez family for this first phase accomplishment. The new units that you now see here include flavors of New Mexico, Russia Prana, Panda, and Dunkin, and in a few days, the Telebar will open. Over the next 4 to 6 months or so, we will also continue to open additional 7 brands, which include New Mexican Pinon Coffee, Laguna Burger, Frank's Chicken and Waffles, Sadie's, Steelbender, Berkey Brewery, and Taos Peaks and Buffalo Wings. Altogether, about 80% of our restaurants are owned and operated by local businesses. So that's our goal, that's our accomplishment. We're proud to say that. I'd like to introduce our deputy, our director, Richard McCurley.
So back at the beginning of 2022, we had a vision of making a change here at the Sunport. And that vision was also to take into consideration the sense of place in Albuquerque and New Mexico, also the culture, and also looking at the culinary foods that were representative of this area. And with this project, we've hit on all 3 of those areas. If you look at all the stores that we have in here, the food offerings, you look at this new area, this wide open space, I believe that you can say that we've really hit the target on this. You know, when you go back to that time, we had a vision of, we had a target of finishing by December of 2024, a couple of our milestones. Our first milestone, of course, was the opening of the security checkpoint. And then, of course, now we're opening up this food hall for the travelers to go through. We have some of the foods concessions open, so we've hit those targets. We're extremely excited about this, and we look forward to the future when we open up additional food concessions in the T-connector and also in the concourses. As Mandy had mentioned, you know, we couldn't get this done without partners. And you look at the partners from the city, GMD, Arts and Culture, Planning, all of them helping us to get this done. And then most importantly, you look at the partners on this construction project. Jane's Corporation, their collaboration with us, FBT for the design, taking our vision and putting it on paper to make this happen. I want to thank them so much for what they've done for us today. And then you go to our concessions. You know, I have to thank Fresquez. We've been working hard with them to get these stores open. They've always met the deadlines. They've worked with us to create these new concepts. They've helped us to make this happen. So thank you, Lenny. Thank you, Shad. And thank you, Ted, if Ted is here. We want to thank each of them for what they've done for us. And then it takes leadership, you know, and I have to thank the mayor for his leadership to bring this vision, to make this happen. It takes an individual who can make it happen, get it accomplished, and he's always been that person for us. So thank you, Mayor. I want to introduce Mayor Keller.
Well, this is a very special occasion, just in time for the holidays, for not only everyone who lives here and flies, but I think what's so special is, you know, family is an important part of our culture in many ways, more than other places. We hold family dear, and we know that New Mexicans live all over the world and all over the country, and they all come home for the holidays. And this place now gets to welcome them with this brand new food court. And so I'm just filled with gratitude today, and also reminded just how delicious some of this airport food is. And I want to touch on just a couple of things behind this project. We're doing a lot of thank yous today, but that's for a good reason. How many times do you hear government saying a project is on time and on budget? I mean, we can all be cynical. We know it's not that often. And I have to tell you, this crew in general has just done an outstanding job. And whether or not you miss Schlotsky's, that's me, by the way. We have an amazing new lineup of restaurants. In the end, they're going to match what everyone wanted. We had a massive community process for actually 18 months ahead of this in terms of what people wanted. We had a thoughtful program to go through it, and we have folks who are just plowing through any roadblock that comes along their way. Now, a couple of reasons why this is true. Number one, there are a bunch of Sunport workers here, and they make the Sunport special each and every day. They've also been able to manage the Sunport through this transition, which will continue. And so I just want to personally thank, on behalf of the entire city and everyone who comes through the Sunport, all the folks who work out here day in and day out and make sure this is the best airport in the country. And that's no exaggeration. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, also, our Sunport leadership team, I have to tell you, when I came in, one of the things I promised is that we were going to have a professional leadership team and that we're going to have a range of folks who are experts in their particular area. And I won't call them all out by name, but I do want to just acknowledge that it's true throughout the Sunport, but the folks that have come in under our administration, whether it's being good at working with the airlines and the back office ops, or whether it's negotiating and managing with vendors, or whether it's doing our economic development outside even this property out at Double Eagle, and our director, Richard McCurley. We have people who really know what they're doing at the Sunport, and that has made all the difference. So Richard, a round of applause to you and your team. So glad we stole him from Hobby or whatever other airport that is. I always forget. There was another one, Rhode Island or something. Man, they're lost. So now to get to where we are today, of course, one of the things we decided is that, we are going to make a generational change at the Sunport. We're going to build this out and make it set up for the next 40 years. I'm just old enough to remember when we did this the last time, and it was amazing. Right? We no longer went under that old tunnel, although it had cool paintings. And we no longer had the chairs that were actually falling apart and like one place to eat, right? We have this version of the Sunport. What we are christening today is our kids' version of the Sunport. This is what the next generation of New Mexicans is going to grow up with. And I emphasize New Mexicans because we all know there are other airports that do a good job. But look, the vast majority of the state flies through here. And so this is, in many ways, a Christmas present to all of New Mexico. And what's under the tree are special treats. We have Dunkin' Donuts, which is by far the coolest, even though it's franchised, the most coolest franchise local mural we've ever seen. Dunkin' Donut balloons flying in the sky above the Sandias. I have a strange suspicion that as much as we want our amazing sculpture and artwork to be the selfie spot, I think a lot of it's going to be right out in front of Dunkin'. So we appreciate their partnership. And of course, we have Flavors of New Mexico, all our treats, whether it's the breakfast burritos or the best quiche, I believe, green chili breakfast quiche in the state, just amazing. And we have cheese and coffee coming soon. Teller coming soon, as you know. That, by the way, is the Safe House. A lot of people are like, what's Teller? If you go to the Safe House downtown, that's, of course, their retail brand. And then Rush of Prana. Annapurna's brought an amazing concept here that is vegan, vegetarian, and also has incredible smoothies and all those great healthy shakes and things like that. And so they've been extremely popular. And of course, everyone in their life loves a little Panda here and there. And so we have Panda back as well. So you've heard about what's coming, which is a whole host of local restaurants. I want to remind everyone that we're committed to roughly an 80% local mix, and that also includes extremely small micro vendors. That includes people who are going to be selling, whether it's t-shirts or jewelry, all the things you saw at the winter market, at the rail yards market. You're going to see a lot of that at the airport. That'll all be coming next year. So a reminder, we are heavily local, and that does bring us to the fact that we are locally operated. And so I want to bring up really the family that's been behind this for many, many years. But they won their bid, and they won their bid because they transitioned to local and to what customers wanted. And that's really all you can ask, is to deliver an amazing product and work with local vendors to make it happen. And they are walking the walk on that. So let's bring up the founder of the feast, Lenny Fresquez.
Well, thank you all for coming out today. I want to say a lot of thanks too. We have a lot of great partners here. First off, the team here at the airport has been phenomenal to work with. Richard and his team, Annie, Gary, the whole team has just been incredible to work with. The vision that the mayor has set out, we've tried to really match what he wanted. We did a lot of work on studying which local vendors are the Albuquerque's funnest. The airport did surveys, and we followed what the customers wanted, what the airport wanted. So we feel real comfortable with the mix that we have and that we're bringing. We have some great partners, SBT, Ted, he's been the architect here and done a great partner with us. Everybody here has been good. I want to introduce my family. This is my youngest son, Lamar. My daughter, Liana, is the president of the company, and my wife, that's her birthday today. Wish her a happy birthday. And then we have Annie here from Cheese and Coffee, and where is she from? Russia. She's hiding from me, I guess, from Russia, but Annie's here from Cheese and Coffee. We're just thankful to have a lot of great partners, and we look forward to providing. We're thankful for the airport choosing us to continue to be the ambassadors of New Mexico. We take that job very seriously, and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, and as we wrap up, I know we're going to take some questions here. Folks have it in a moment, but I want to make sure that everyone knows also Jane's Construction. We've talked about them. But I mentioned this project is more or less on time and on budget. This is the largest project of its kind for the city of Albuquerque. And it's a construction manager at risk. They can tell you what that means. It's also a project labor agreement. So I think we asked our community to believe that these two concepts were awesome and would be great for the city and for our workforce. And they absolutely have been. So this has been, and this is a boring, non-exciting, non-food topic, but I gotta say it because it is that important. They are stewarding and investing $90 million of your dollars, not taxpayer dollars, but airport dollars, and they're doing it in the right way, with the right quality, with the right apprentice, with the right workforce, and for the right price and at the right time. And it's a credit to Jane's Construction and everyone who's on their team. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, and I want to close with one thing that you don't see a whole lot of because it's coming. But remember, we're also investing $3 million in local art. And so that's right, that is all going through the selection process. Some of it, if our media partner's interested, is outside in the where you queue into security. But these are going to be murals on these four sides. There's also going to be a new iconic sculpture both in the queuing area and also at the old T intersection of the two hallways, which is now under construction. But we want to remind everyone, because the most frequently asked question I get at the airport is, when is this sculpture coming back? And so the dream of flight is back. And so we want everyone to enjoy it in an awesome new area where you can linger and enjoy and also hear amazing music at the Dream of Flight stage right underneath this iconic sculpture. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Manny.
All right, thank you, Mayor. As you can see, this has been a team effort, and we've just been so thrilled to be able to celebrate this milestone today. Just wanted to give a couple other shout outs. I noticed the NV5 team, thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here. You've been instrumental as well. Our partners, TSA and APD, because if this airport is not secure, we do not get to enjoy all the benefits of this space. And so that's very important to us. And one person, an unsung hero, who usually doesn't get mentioned, I'm going to mention him today because he has been here from the beginning, working with me and the rest of the team to make sure this project moves forward on pace, and that is Mr. Hartwell Briggs. Thank you, sir. He is the project manager. He's been a pleasure to work with. So thank you. All right, so we'll take some questions, and and Mayor has one more thing.
I know, and I know we in general talked about the architects, but I also get asked, what's different? This looks the same. That was the point. Like, it was supposed to look like our old airport. Like, this is supposed to be a seamless renovation. So the architects on this, FBT, have done an outstanding job, right? There are subtleties that are new. But yeah, the chairs look the same, but now they have plug outlets. Yeah, the ceiling looks the same. Yes, you still click your bag on the brick. So we wanted to maintain that awesome character and that aesthetic that the Sunport has. And so we hope that as much as people love it, they also think it's always been here and was always part of the design. But it actually hasn't. This is actually all new. The only thing we did that is new is add skylights. So the rest of it is a credit to the team. So round of applause for them as well.
All right. And if the media has any questions, we're here to answer.
Can I start?
Please.
So you guys talked on the other restaurants opening here in a few months. Can we get more specific timeline for that? Are we talking about half a year, the next year, a few months?
Yeah,
Like that?
absolutely. So this space right over here, Cheese and Coffee, is getting built out over the next couple of months. So we're very much looking forward to opening up Cheese and Coffee toward the end of Q1, early Q2, calendar year next year. Spring 2025, also right over here, Teller Distillery branded cocktail bar. They'll have beer, wine, spirits, and so forth. However, we also have a couple of other really exciting bar concepts that are coming online later in 2025. That would be out in A Concourse. We have Steelbender Brewery branded bar there. And then at the T-Connector, which will come much later in 2025 because we're also doing the observation deck build out in tandem with that T-Connector unit. So it'll probably be the last one to come online. And we're still working on the concept and the name. So I don't want to tell you yet because it's evolving and it's in process, but it's going to be a beautiful design. And of course, we'll have the views of the airfield that, you know, the observation deck and the former restaurant there were so well known for. So, and then of course we also have famous Frank's Chicken and Waffles out at the A Concourse. We have Laguna Burger, that will also be a neighboring unit out there in A Concourse. We'll have New Mexico Pinon branded cafe in the A Concourse as well. Then turn over to B Concourse, we'll have a dual unit that kind of shares a space, and that's Buffalo Wild Wings and Taos Peaks, which is a proprietary brand. And then Sadie's of New Mexico and in the T-Connector area as well. So where that old food court is now, everything is closed there. That's going to get walled off soon, and then the demolition will commence, and then we'll have the tenant build-outs for 3 retail units and that Sadie's over there. So that kind of rounds out the whole program. So again, 80% of all of these units in the Sunport are local brands and concepts. Something to be proud of.
Just going off of that, so then when can we expect
Sure. So all the food and beverage will definitely be wrapped up within 2025 is our target. And, you know, of course, targets move a little bit, but we're gonna get it as close to the bullseye as we possibly can. Yeah, thank you.
I do have one wide. Manny, I was just wondering if you could elaborate on the financing that the mayor talked about.
Sure.
He was referring to like the airport being an enterprise fund and has its own money, I think, as opposed to
That's right.
just kind of give us
Absolutely. So the Sunport operates as an enterprise fund, as you mentioned. So our revenues come from a lot of different sources. So the airlines pay their rates and charges. We also have our tenants, such as the concessionaires and all the other service providers that are here, both in the terminal and outside the terminal. And that includes tenants who are in buildings on the air side, as well as the land side, and our parking garage as well. And then we also receive a lot of support from the federal government. We get FAA grants, and the lion's share of this project is actually paid through passenger facility charges, about 2/3 of the overall cost of the core project. So that's not including the tenant improvement build-outs, was paid for by those passenger facility charges, which each passenger pays when they buy a ticket that originates at the Sunport. So it's a pretty diversified revenue stream, but it's not direct local taxpayer money. Sure, go right ahead.
So, Panda Express looks like it's open the same way.
Yes.
Donuts.
Yes.
So just so that people don't get confused, are
Yes.
they available at this time, or is that going to be coming in the next couple of
They are, thank you, Chandler. Yes, they are available at this time. So Saturday morning, several of these units opened up. Flavors of New Mexico, Rush of Prana, and Panda Express. Now Dunkin, it looks very much open, and it really what they're doing right now is just sharing samples. So you can't actually make a sales transaction yet, but within the next couple days, it'll be up and running as well in that regard. So some of the staff have had a chance to be the first to sample the freshly baked donuts at Dunkin. Yeah, great. Thanks. Any final questions before we wrap? That looks like it. The lights are going off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us. We appreciate you being here to celebrate with us. And a lot more to come, folks, so stay tuned. Thank you.